Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's show of the Startup Junkie. And of course, I'm your host, AJ. And today is day 4. Now, honestly, day 4 is probably the most intensive content that I'm going to share with you today. But no worries, because I'm going to keep it very, very high level. Day 4 of the 5 days of everything you need to know to start a business. Everything from the mindset to understand the legal to corporate structure, etc., etc., etc. We are addressing over the 5 days. And today is for Thursday, and tomorrow will be the final day. And of course, for me, it's day 18 for self-isolation. All right. Day 18 for self-isolation. But before we get started, I just want to say a couple of things, okay? First and foremost, I definitely have to say thank you very much to all of the first responders, all of the people that are working in hospitals, in emergency rooms, who are working in grocery stores, who are working delivering packages, who are working for companies to basically keep society going as we know it, or at least some semblance of as we know it. Because, of course, as you know, this is a new normal. So, again, thank you all first responders, grocery attendants, all those people out there who are really, really making our life much easier at this point in time. Now, I also want to say before we get started, I'm a little bit troubled and alarmed. And so this is for my people, okay? This is for the black people, all right? I don't know where this information came from about, people of color are not really catching COVID, because it's bullshit. I know at least 2 or 3 people that have actually come down with COVID, and they are not white. I actually heard Craig Melvin say on MSNBC no more than maybe an hour ago that when white people catch a cold, black people catch the flu. All right. So could have a whole lot to do with, our current state in terms of, economic state and not necessarily having access to the best medical care. Or it could also be I'm quite sure that actually has something to do with it, but it can also have something to do with the fact that we, when I say we, I'm talking about people of color in general, work heavily in the service industry. So again, that's why I started off the show by saying thank you so very much for all that you do, and you are much appreciated. So all those people who are out there ordering, say, service from say Kroger or Costco, or basically if you're using Instacart, using DoorDash, using any kind of delivery service, tip your delivery person. All right, definitely tip your delivery person, because I think it's absolutely bullshit and cheap as hell if you do not tip, especially now considering what they're facing and what they're putting themselves up to. What they're putting themselves through, not up to, but through. All right. So again, today is day 4, and we're going to get started on the show. Like I said, today is a heavy topic, but it's not going to be so heavy because I'm going to keep it very, very high level so you can understand. And I'm going to start the show off by saying I am not a CPA or an attorney. I am a business person who teaches business courses at a couple of universities, and I also run a business as an entrepreneur. But I will say this: I have a lot of experience, and I'm just sharing my experience with you as a part of the Startup Junkie live show, which, by the way, you can catch us multi-streaming right now on Twitter, Periscope, one and the same, YouTube, and on at least 3 pages on Facebook. All right. So definitely check us out and spread this message. Also, if you like podcasts, you can listen to us on the go by checking out the Startup Junkie live show. Just search it on the Apple iTunes platform, as well as Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeart Media. Now, with that said, we are going to get started. Today is day 5 of setting up your business. I have a very, very quick agenda I'm going to cover. Normally, I would put a bunch of stuff up on the screen, line by line, but not today. So I need you either one, to take notes if you find this information useful, or 2, just go back and watch the replay. And then also, if you would, definitely please share this with some young budding entrepreneur, a wantrepreneur, person looking to start a business, or a business owner that you just kind of feel like, hey, this could probably help them. All right, with that said, today's show, everything you need to know about setting up your business successfully, right? Day 1, we went through all the departments that you need to be conscious of in a business. Day 2, we went through what is called, the mindset. You know what I mean? How you have to think, because purely, honestly, you got to really set your mind right when it comes to actually doing business, understanding that not everyone is your friend and not everyone has your best interest at heart. And number 3, which is day 3, we talked about time management, because what good is all of this if you cannot actually implement and execute all the stuff that you're planning out? And most of the time, I should say, when people do not execute, it has a whole lot to do with poor time management. So that's why we shared those tips and strategies with you yesterday. Now, today, setting up your business for success. Now, whenever you set up a business, and this is the first point I'm going to share with you, you have to start thinking about, how am I going to be legally structured? Okay? Legally structured, meaning, do I want to do business, if you're an individual, do I want to do business as doing business as, in other words, doing business as an individual? You know what I mean? Like, say if I'm AJ, do I want to do business as AJ Enterprises? Or do I want to do business as a single member LLC? Now, I could talk to you about other formations, such as LLPs and C corps and S corps, but I'm going to leave those out of this equation today. I am going to just say that you are, and I'm this is purely based on the assumption that you are an individual looking to, just get started, and you don't have any employees, and you might be outsourcing a lot of whatever it is that you're going to do, or you do have some employees because you have an existing business, but you've been thinking about how you've been operating in terms of your legal structure. Now, doing business as, okay, that's when most people say a DBA, okay? You can very easily start your own business and set yourself up to start doing business as whatever the name of the business you want to do. Now, basically, in most states, like I'm in Texas, all you literally have to do is go down to the county clerk's office and just fill out some paperwork and say, hey, I'm in business, and this is how I'm doing business. I'm AJ, doing business as AJ Enterprises. It might cost you less than $25 once you fill out the paperwork to actually form your DBA, doing business as. Now, there's some benefits and there's some drawbacks, okay? But before I get into the benefits and the drawbacks, I'm going to explain to you what a lot of entrepreneurs do and how they form their organization. And that is the second option here, which is the LLC, which stands for a limited liability company, right? Now, in Texas, just in general, most entrepreneurs, not most, but a lot of entrepreneurs, when they they develop an LLC, they do it as a single member LLC. Now, there's a DBA, and then there's a single member LLC. Now, if you had multiple partners in your limited liability company, that's what LLC stands for, then of course it could be a multi-member LLC, and if you're a small startup, doing taxes, unless you have like some investors looking to drop some major funding into your company, which you would do something different, right? But if you're looking to pretty much bootstrap this and, borrow from mom and dad or borrow from a friend or get some money here, then you probably want to do an LLC, a single member LLC. Now, again, I am not a CPA, nor am I an attorney, but this is how most of my friends set their business up. Now, in the beginning, when we were all excited about doing business, we ran down to the county clerk's office or the courthouse. We ran down to the courthouse and we filed a DBA. We're doing business as. Now, here is the major advantage of doing business as yourself or doing business as. It is super, super duper simple and extremely inexpensive to get started. Okay. Like I said, probably less than $25. Take an hour or so of your time, go down, fill out the paperwork. Boom, you're in business, right? Okay. Now, limited liability company or an LLC or single member LLC, doing business as an LLC, it is not that cheap, and there are certain things that you have to do each year. In fact, I believe it's due. It might be due in May. But here's the thing: in Texas, for example, when you want to file an LLC, and this depends on your state, because we did some stuff in Wyoming, and it was only like $50 a year or $55 a year to maintain the LLC. But in Texas, right, it's going to cost you a minimum of $300, right, to actually form your LLC, your single member LLC right here in Texas. Now, each year, though, as a single member LLC, you are going to have to file a report. And the report basically looks at, it's called, you technically are a franchise, so you're technically paying a franchise fee, right? Keep in mind, I'm not a CPA or an attorney. I'm just sharing with you my experience, okay? So if you've made a bunch of money, you're going to have to pay a franchise fee. Not like you bought a franchise like a McDonald's or a Subway and you got to pay like some kind of royalty to the corporation. No, just to do business in the state, the Texas Comptroller's Office actually still charges you some form of tax. I mean, that's how you can look at it. Some form of tax, which is called a franchise fee. So the difference between the DBA is super simple, fast, and you can do it easily. All right. And it's not that expensive. However, when you decide to set yourself up as an LLC, then you're going to have to pay some money up front, and you're going to continuously have to pay money based on the franchise fee that you have, franchise tax, that is, that you have to pay just for operating as an LLC, a single member LLC here in the state of Texas. Like I said, depending on the state, the fee could be different, right? But anyway, here is the point. There are benefits, and there are disadvantages. There are advantages and disadvantages. And of course, like I said, the advantage is DBA doesn't cost much. The disadvantage of an LLC is that it costs a lot. Now, the disadvantage of a DBA is the amount of different things that you can write off on your taxes. That's right. Keep in mind, not a CPA or an attorney. I'm just sharing my experience with you. All right. And this is an experience of being an entrepreneur over 20 plus years. Right. So you're very limited. In fact, I think you might be limited to like 6 different things that you can actually like write off on your taxes as a doing business as. Like say you can write off rent. You can, if you're paying independent contractors something, you can do that. You can write off meals, but my experience is the IRS actually looks at you more on your DBA and you're trying to claim all these deductions. Okay. But as a single member LLC, right? You have way more tax advantages, right? Way more tax advantages. Now I'm not going to give you all of the advantages, but I will say this. I employ you as an entrepreneur looking to do your own thing, to do the research, the difference. Just Google the difference between DBA, doing business as, and an LLC, single member LLC. Now, here's the beauty. of when it's time to do your taxes. As a single member LLC, you still get to run, and a DBA, everything is on your personal tax return. All right. So that makes it extremely, extremely easy to do your taxes. All right. But if you were like an S corp or a C corporation or some type of multi-member LLC, then it would be far more difficult to actually do your taxes. So if you're an entrepreneur, my advice to you, I would either start off as a DBA or a single member LLC, especially if you plan on funding everything yourself just to get your business off the ground. However, if you got major investors, then, of course, you got major investors, then you're going to have people that are professional that can actually set you up right. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share with you. So remember, whenever you start in a business, you always have to think about how you're going to set yourself up legally. Now, once you've set yourself up legally, right, you really have to think about how you're going to operate within the company. Okay. What I mean is simply this. Are you going to operate as a for-profit company, or are you going to operate as a non-profit, right? I'm going to assume that you're operating for a profit, okay? So let's just take the non-profit off the table, all right? Operating as a for-profit company, right? When you're operating for a profit company, you need to understand what is called C-suite level executives. In other words, you gotta think about your corporate. You gotta think about who is in top management, and you have to think about the managers that are under them, and you have to think about the employees that are under the managers. Okay, so it's top level managers who make all the major final decisions, and then you have below them are regular, say, managers, supervisors, etc. that actually delegate to employees under them. So you have to think about how you're going to set up your corporate your corporate structure. Okay, your organizational structure. What is the organizational structure within your company? And this is so key and so important, because if you don't have people, like I shared all those different departments with you, such as marketing and sales, you got to have people that are managers that are in place to actually handle those departments, to actually delegate to the employees within those departments. So I told you this topic is kind of deep. All right. So I employ ye, like hear ye, I employ you to definitely Google organizational structure. Okay. Think about how the different roles are going to, of the different functions, different departments will be taken care of. Everything from the supervisors to the employees under the supervisors and the top level management, what they call C-suite, the corporate suite, such as CEO, CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer, CIO, which is Chief Innovation Officer or Chief Information Officer. You have to think about how you're going to have all of that set up. So it's basically top-down management. All right. So I hope you got something out of that. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is this. Now, we covered how you're going to legally structure your organization or your company, right? And then we just covered you have to think about what the management is going to look like and the employees in each department will look like. You have to think about that. Now, the next thing is because you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting off, you need a way to be able to operate in what we call the startup world as lean as possible. Again, as lean as possible. In fact, you should probably Google the lean startup. Now, let me tell you what I mean by lean as possible. The biggest expense in most companies, right, is the cost of human capital. In other words, the cost of your employees, right? Or people that do work for you, right? So oftentimes we don't have the money as startups to actually get people to work for us. So what happens, and if you've ever seen the movie Social Network, this happened with Facebook, and it happened with a lot of other companies such as Google. It happened with Microsoft. These companies offer very small pieces of equity. Equity is what is like, say, if your company is 100%, equity would be each piece of equity would be a percentage of your company. So say if you want to get someone to work for you, but you don't have money to pay them, and they believe in your mission, they believe in what your company is doing, maybe just offering them a very small piece of equity or stake in your company, you can get them to come on. So that is how you can get people to actually help you with your passion and with your dream and help you do what it is that you want to do, simply by making them a part of it. In other words, not just giving them a paycheck, but making them, feel like they're a part of something, right? So for all startup entrepreneurs out there, definitely think about whenever you start your organization, your company, and you're trying to bring something to the world, think about who you can bring on board, that you can give them a stake of the business or some equity, very small pieces, so they can help you actually facilitate what it is you want to do. Now, but part of that's how you pretty much can eliminate the biggest cost in a startup, okay? But there are other costs, your day-to-day operation costs, or what they call operating costs, right? And operating costs are things that you're going to have to pay. Like, you're going to have to pay rent. You're going to have to pay for phones. You're going to have to pay for cell phone bills. And depending on your business, you're going to have to pay for certain types of software to help you facilitate your business, right? And depending on your business, right? Or actually, it really doesn't depend on your business, right? It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. Two of the biggest other costs is keeping up with the accounting, right? Having someone there that actually understands accounting as well as understands contracts. Now, what I'm going to share with you, because I said I would share with you free software, I'm going to share with you not only software that can actually help you with your accounting, which is free, right? Help you from do invoices, develop and create profit and loss statements, all these different income statements, all these different things. If I'm speaking a foreign language, no worries. It'll all come to you. All you have to do is just YouTube some of the stuff that I'm saying. Trust me, there are entire courses online that teach you about this stuff for free. For example, Corsica. You can take a basic accounting course on Corsica. Now, here we go. Free software. I said biggest cost, software, accounting. You need people to do accounting, and you need people, and you, like, depending on the type of business you have, like, you need contracts for independent contractors. Now, what I'm about to share my screen with you and what I'm going to show you is what we use for free. Now, as it relates to software for accounting, we use Wave apps. Now, Wave apps, you can pretty much do anything with Wave apps. Everything from sales, you can create invoices, you can create payroll, you can do all of these different things. And guess what? Wave apps is absolutely free. And you might be saying, why is it free? Because say it works just like, say, like PayPal, right? Like, say if you send an invoice, Wave apps will actually charge a fee for whatever the cost that you're sending out. They get paid a fee. But for all the other stuff like profit and loss statements, and let me look at it like reports. Let me show you this. Let me see reports. All right. Show you this. This is beautiful. Profit and loss statements, balance sheet, cash flow, sales tax, payroll, income by customer, age receivables. Remember I talked about, accounts receivables, collecting your money, like all these different things that you literally, let me come over here. You literally can do for free. All right. You literally can do this for free. All right. Hold on a second. You literally can do all this stuff for free. All right. So why am I sharing this particular app with you? Because I've literally tried a bunch of different apps, and out of all of the apps, right, a lot of them are super expensive. For example, Intuit's not TurboTax, but honestly, I can't even remember the name right now. What do you say? Okay, yeah, but it's WAVEAPPS, right? Wave Apps. So Yolanda asked, Anthony, is this spelled Wave Apps? No, it's spelled WAPPS. Okay, and this is absolutely free. All right, it's absolutely free, and in fact, even with Wave Apps, you can. Say if someone wants to pay you, you can take money directly out of their bank account. And that's only at a 1% fee, right? And that's 1% of whatever you take out. Basically what happens is once someone pays you for something, you can create professional looking invoices and send it to them. You can create what they call products, like all your services within it. You can create all your services within it. And if say somebody says, hey, send me an invoice for a yearly subscription or whatever, all you gotta do is click one button. It'll go to them, and then you can get paid, right? But keep in mind, if you want to avoid say the little small percentages that they cost, add that to your pricing of whatever your product. So you can create all these different products and charge at the same time and take money directly out of their bank account. So QuickBooks, that's what I was talking about. So this QuickBooks, like the online QuickBooks, is super expensive, okay? But Wave Apps is absolutely free, all right? So here's the other thing. Let's just say you're out scouting and you've identified a client that you want to sell your product or service to, but you need some kind of way of creating like an agreement, creating a contract and all that. But you don't have a lot of money to pay an attorney. Well, here's the solution for you. This is legalcontracts.com. Okay? Yes, legalcontracts.com. We use it all the time. We put together all types of agreements with legalcontracts.com. Even though my wife is an attorney, she still wants to charge me for her time. And guess what? I don't blame her, right? I don't blame her. But I pass her the check whenever we go out. Well, when we get out of our staycation right now, I just passed the check to her. I said, hey, this is for when I paid you. Is that cheap? Yeah, a little bit. But I'm just saying. So believe it or not, you get access to all of this information, contracts based on laws in your state. Let me give you an example of what it is. Okay, so let me click on business, right? They have family and estates, power of attorney, last will and testament, healthcare directives. In fact, I actually did a power of attorney for a friend of mine whose wife was actually sick, and I did it using this, right? And it was legal. Okay, let's just say I want to, like we were talking about creating your own LLC operating agreement, right? So I would click on that LLC operating agreement. Right? And it'll say, will this company be located in Texas? Yes. Loading. And I'm showing you just how easy this is. First of all, they're AAA rated by the BBB. All right. So I would put my corporate name in or whatever, right? And I would hit continue. And once I hit continue, it would take me to the next thing. And so it's just moving a little slow right now because I think my internet is a little spotty here. But anyway, here is the point. The point is you have access to all that you need at your fingertips where you don't have to spend a lot of money. And speaking of money, the last topic I want to talk to you about is borrowing versus bootstrapping. So let me explain to you what the difference is. We all know about borrowing money to start a business, right? But bootstrapping is when you decide that you're going to do it all on your own, out of your own pockets, because at the end of the day, you want to own 100% of the company, right? That can be expensive, but you've identified a way of running lean, as I talked about the lean startup, and now you have developed a product or service, and now you can get out there. Now, I call this the $1,000 business model, okay? I really want you guys to hear this. The $1,000 business model is just like this, okay? Say you have decided, right, that you are going to start a business. You're going to bring a new product or service to the market, or you're going to take an existing service, like say maybe cutting lawns, or maybe some kind of home service. You're going to do it on your own, right? I told you should stay away from DBAs, right? Doing business as, you decide that you're in Texas, you're going to file it as you're going to create this business as an LLC, right? An LLC, a single member LLC. So you pay the state $300 because that's what it costs to legally incorporate your business, to do business in that state. All right. So the LLC is $300. Now, but you need an operating agreement, right? So your operating agreement is this. You got to hire an attorney, but damn, I don't have money to hire an attorney, because keep in mind, our entire budget is $1,000, right? We got $300 on the LLC going to the state. Now it's time for us to come up with an operating agreement. Even though it's a single member LLC, we still have people that are going to be in the company, people that believe in your passion, and you have promised them a little bit of your equity. In other words, a little bitty piece of 100% of the company you're going to give to them for actually helping you bring your dream to market. Now, I'm really bringing it home here for you, all right? So you're going to go to legalcontracts.com, right? And for the year, you are going to pay, listen to this, you're going to pay less than $100 for a year to have access, no matter what state you're in, to estates and wills, all kinds of business contracts specific to your state. So now you're at $400, right? You're like, okay, well, I got it. I'm at $400. I still have $600 left. Help me create this business for $1,000. Now, you have decided that you are going to, you need a logo, right? You need a logo. You need some stationery. This is what you need, right? So you hop on a website called Fiverr, Fiverr. You pay an independent contractor $50 to come up with a logo. Let's just say $100 because they'll come up with the logo for your business cards and design a business card for you. And on top of that, design stationary designs for you. In other words, for your mail, for your desktop. I mean, your letterhead, they design all that for you. Now, keep in mind, we're at what? That's four. Now we're at $500, right? You still have $500 left. You're like, look, I do not want to look unprofessional. I want to have a professional looking website. One, when I launch the business, and I want to have professional people answering my phone. All right. So you take another $150 and you pay for website builders such as Wix, right? So, you create, you have a little time. You can take forever. You can take a long time to actually build your website. Do it yourself, or pay some kid, say $100 to do the website for you, right? Or even on Fiverr, they do websites, 1 or 2 page websites. Well, actually up to 5-page websites for $100. Okay. So you paid, so you're at 500, you pay another 150 for a website builders such as Wix for the entire year. That includes your URL, which is your website address. Now you're at 650. You don't want to build a website yourself. You pay someone on Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, to build your website for $100, only 5 pages. You give them the information. Now you are at, what is that? 650, right? There's 300 for the LLC. There's 100 for legalcontracts.com. There's 100 for a logo and stationery. So that's what, 500, right? Then you pay 150 for a website builder, right? Which is Wix. I recommend Wix, or recommend WordPress, right? So what's that? $650, $750, whatever. All right. So now you pay the kid another $100 to, or someone on Fiverr, independent contractor, to build your website out. Now you have, say, a couple $100 left. Okay, so my numbers may be a little bit off, but here is the point. You reach out now because you want professional people to answer your phone. You reach out to, all right, companies like Spaces, Regis, Meridian, and they will answer your phones and collect your mail, and you get a chance to use a professional business address. Plus, you can even access these places and meet your clients there, all right, maybe twice a month, because you get office space for a whole day for twice a month for something like $200 bucks. All right. So you're under $1,000 and you have put together an entire business, right? You have put together an entire business. And of course, I'm oversimplifying it, but I just said all this to give you the point. The point is, you don't need a lot of money to get started. You don't need a lot of money to get started. So this has been day 4, setting you up for success. Last thing I presented to you was borrowing versus bootstrapping. I just showed you how, if you want to keep your company to yourself, you don't need to really borrow any money. You can scrape together or save on drinks or save on whatever, or buying. I mean, you guys not doing anything but saving now because most of us are not out, right? Not spending money on frivolous stuff, right? How you can get this thing done for under $1,000. So this has been day 4 of setting your business up right. And I really appreciate it, Yolanda. Yolanda, let me tell you what's interesting. I appreciate it. Wealth of information. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me tell you what's interesting. Typically, when people either act out of inspiration or desperation, okay, they're inspired to do something, or they are desperate to do something, right? If I was on this talking about getting a check, I'd have 20 people in the room, right? I would. If I was on here, and no disrespect to anyone passing the word, but if I was on here preaching, or if I was on here gossiping, I would have many more people in the room. This is just an observation over the last year. Whenever I talk about something that's extremely topical, that impacts people at the moment, that makes them feel good, that makes them feel inspired, I don't get I get tons of people in the room. But when I talk about stuff that requires work, requires perspiration and not just inspiration, I don't get as many people in the room. So with that said, Yolanda, I really appreciate you being here, because it's all about putting in the work now, and the rest will be easy later. All you got to do is a little bit each day. You don't have to conquer the mountain or climb the mountain in one day. You can set out a time limit on how long this thing is going to take you. If it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 months, it doesn't matter. You're working toward your goal. And that's the only thing that really matters. So this has been day 4 of the Startup Junkie, of 5 days of, everything you need to know about setting up your business from A to Z. And today's topic was setting up your business for success. I hope you got much out of this. If this message resonates, definitely share it, okay? Share it across all your social platforms. Also, be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live on iTunes, on Spotify, iHeart Media, as well as TuneIn. And last thing I'm going to say, Yolanda, I'm going to add you to this. You said mindset. You want it, you have to go at it. If you want it, you have to go at it. I agree with you, Yolanda. And I just see everyone tomorrow. Thank you. Take care, y'all. Take care.